The Sennsé Costume is one of the most popular traditional carnival costumes in Dominica, with origins in West Africa, where most of our ancestors come from. In Africa, the costume was worn by the village guardian during the night to scare away unwanted activities and to keep the village peaceful and safe. Even today, the costumes or the masks can be seen in the Ibagwanike Kingdom in southeast Nigeria and in the Nigeria Igbo Masquerade Festival. In the distant past, these costumes were made of frayed rope and other fibrous material such as pounded leaves of the agave, which is known in Creole as langbef, translated to mean cow tongue because of the shape of the leaves. Screw pine roots pounded into fibrous strands, banana leaves, pie fig, crocus burlap bag material in which sugar used to be shipped, and strips of paper. In more recent times, the materials have included discarded flour and fertilizer bag material, cotton, satin, and other types of cloth, and frayed plastic bags. The materials are sewn onto clothing such as overalls, pants, and shirts in layers so that it cascades from the neck down to the feet. The headpiece usually has a pair of attached cow horns with a facial mask. Costumes used here in Dominica are similar to those used in West African tribal ceremonies. The word Sennsé comes from the Twi language, which is a type of frizzled feathered fowl that the Twi people believe to have spiritual significance. Sennsé is one of the most treasured traditional carnival costumes here in Dominica and has gained recognition at many international carnivals around the world. In this production, we had the privilege of interacting with a few builders of this magnificent costume.
And I build Sennsé costumes as a hobby.
We choose to do the Sennsé to make it look different than the other costumes.
From a youth man of 8 and 10 years growing up.
I've been doing that for the past 20 years now.
About 15 years.
I used to follow on big man. I used to help them.
The community introduced me to that because my father used to be a band leader.
Our grandparents really introduced us into it.
My fascination grew because I felt all the other costumes were so commercialized.
I just fell in love with it because they were all sewing. My dad is tailor, mom's seamstress.
Basically, it is the same, but after a number of years doing this thing, every person that is involved, they develop their own style and their own way of doing it.
The original one back in the days was much too heavy. So right now we building satin.
My one is different because my one is lighter.
It is easier to build and it looks unique.
Well, we do build it as a group.
I build alone because to me it ain't gonna work to give somebody else, and as I say, I do it as a hobby.
Some guys will do the pants, some will do the jacket, and some will do the mask.
Most of them I build alone because some guys have to do work, but otherwise this group will be.
I build I alone. So if those boys come there, I'm showing them what to do.
I love doing it myself alone.
It have a reason because one of those boys in their bed, I alone there. So I alone my little comfort.
So now me alone that maybe make like 4 cents.
It's taken me 4 days.
I take about a week to do it.
So in day and night, 3 weeks straight.
This is something you could build from almost any kind of raw material.
Sennsé for me is with anything.
I use cloth, I use the bags, sac my own.
Flour bags, sugar bags, fertilizer bags, and most of those bags, as you know, they are made out of plastic and those kind of things, right? Petrochemicals.
I just buy it from all supermarket or big crate.
I like building costumes that are well full with cow horns. I think that is a special appeal that it has to people.
If I don't have a headpiece, I don't have a Sennsé, so I don't see that it like looking incomplete. I buy mask, but I can do the local mask as well.
I have developed my own system and my own method. My style is, I get the bags, I cut them to the desired length that I want based on the design of the costume I want to build. and I staple 2 or 3 of them together in rows, so I have rows, and then I sew it onto the jacket.
When I prepare the material, I just pack it on the side in a barrel. So when the barrel full, I start in. The barrel must give me a sunset.
With the cloth, I have to cut them by pieces. I don't cut them by several pieces. I cut one by branch, one piece at a time, and I sort them out. So if I want to build a beauty, I don't put too much of one color to every hip.
4 inches distance I give him it. If I start there with red, then I start there with green, then I put yellow up there, then I put black up there. So I'm making it something creative as I go in.
I start at the top, and then I go down to the pants.
If I cut it in half, you'll see the front moving, you'll see the hem. But with the long cut, we cut it in everything, just like a whole suit.
The most time-consuming part of it, really, is the frilling out of the bag.
When I put my thread on my needles, I wax them. I normally wax the thread because it will be strong and straight.
When carnival time comes around and I make 2 or 3 costumes, that is my carnival money.
I can see somebody living on making Sennsé costumes.
It can be profitable. I do not believe that it can be really heavily commercialized.
Every year, I get contracts.
Sennsé can bring a lot of revenue.
Every year you can make a money.
Just because of my love for it and the enthusiasm that I had as a child, I maintained that throughout the years.
Since you have a beauty, at the same time, you have to know how to build it and you have to know what you're doing with it.
The only problem is that it's only done around carnival time and there is not an industry.
It can be a vital business.
Carnival in itself has to develop.
We have to see it is a privilege in Dominica for us to have our culture, yes.
Regardless of whatever other costumes there are, the tourists seem to like the idea of looking at that Sennsé thing.
We could do a lot with Sennsé, but it's still the people who have to get their head together. We all must come together, discuss and do what is necessary.
We must develop carnival for it to become for costume building to become an industry.
The goat, that is the real culture.
It's the ancient tradition I have to keep on as long as I live.
Having traced the Sennsé back to its African roots and seen its evolution into a contemporary costume via the words and work of the present-day costume builders, we envision the continuation of this art form into the Dominican thriving art and cultural industry through the involvement of younger persons and the support of a wide cross-section of our society, including art lovers, artists, policy makers, and Dominicans at home and abroad.